Hello everyone and welcome back to ASX Market Watch. Thank you so much for joining me. It's really great to have you here, having an opportunity to chat about the markets and have a look at where everything is heading. Really, it's not rocket science. Over the last couple of weeks, we called a resume to the uptrend, and basically that's exactly what's happened. The market has very conveniently continued that uptrend. So, I mean, really not a lot has happened, but what I'm going to show you this week is a few points where we might find resistance based on Elliott wave. So in the future where we might find the price to actually reverse based on some Elliott wave predictions. So if you follow that sort of stuff, you know, could be cool to watch. Could be a good thing to find out where the price might reverse in the future. And also, just based on trend lines, you know, really simple methods, guys. The trend lines, which you would find some solid entry and exit signals, which is always good to have in any trading plan. So again, thanks for joining me. I hope this will help you a little bit. The first one we're looking at is at the ASX Top 200. This is in the Australian markets here. And all I've done is, because we've got higher peaks and higher troughs, we've got our uptrend line. Now what the uptrend line will do, apart from looking very bland because it's just a line on a chart, it will also give you support for the price in the future. So on a medium-term scale, because this is sort of a medium-term trend line, what we're looking at is for price would have to really close below 4,700 for the price to reverse on a medium-term time frame. Now, if you wanted a shorter-term signal of where price might reverse, just draw a shorter-term trend line. Very simple stuff, and we can actually draw that because, as you can see, if I just enlarge that there, the price has bounced off the trend line quite a few times, giving it, you know, a really good validity there. Price would have to close below this shorter term uptrend line and also make a lower peak and lower trough, if I can get it in there. There we go. So kind of like a zigzag down. So what you're looking for is for it to close below the uptrend line. What that means is then that the support of the uptrend line is broken, and then that lower peak and lower trough, that sort of solidifies the move. At least for me, that makes it a bit more of a solid exit signal. But currently, we're looking at an uptrend, and it's an uptrend on a short-term basis and on a longer-term basis as well, because we've got these two uptrend lines in place. Now, looking at in the future, so if we were to take our little crystal ball here and have a look into the future and see where we might find resistance, what we've got is Elliott wave works on a 5-wave basis. So 1 wave up, 2 is down, 3 is up, 4 is usually sideways, which is exactly what's happened just recently over the last 6 months. 6 months of sideways movement. Oh gosh, just get me out of here. I want another trend to resume so that we can start making some money again. But what we've got is this sideways movement, and we're starting to break out to the upside. So where will we find resistance in the future, or where price might actually start to reverse? Now, if I get the right tool in here, 2 shakes of a tail's feather, is what we're looking at is a price extension. So wave 5 will usually go between 50% and 75% again of the previous wave, being the wave 3, this one here. So in layman's terms, what that means is 50% to 75% is between 5,060 and 5,300. So I'll just draw a little box there of where we could expect 5,300, and 5,050. So really, this is where we're at the moment. This is where we could expect price to go based on the wave 5, or the last wave of your Elliott wave, if you were to follow that kind of methodology. So the next one is the Dow Jones. Really, Dow Jones is extremely similar to the ASX Top 200, as they do tend to be. All the markets, really, they're very interrelated. You know, if one market sort of trembles, then the other one will sort of tremble as well. And it's happened like this for at least the last 150 years, if you look back over the charts. Even when we didn't have, you know, high-speed internet and, you know, breaking news stories every single day, the markets around the world were still interrelated. All we've got on our Dow Jones is our uptrend line. Again, this will give us some sweet support, because trend lines tend to do that, and it's a dynamic support as well, so it does move as the price moves, and we adjust our trend lines accordingly. And again, we've got our shorter term uptrend line here. So we've got a shorter term signal at about 10,600, longer term signal at about 10,300 for the Dow Jones. Looking at an Elliott wave projection into the future, again, taking out that crazy crystal ball of Elliott wave, if you were to follow that type of methodology, we would look at, we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, and where would our wave 5 tend to be? Between 50% and 75%. So looking at 11,100 and 11,085. So sort of between those two levels there. And I'll just get rid of this. There we go. So yeah, that's where you could sort of expect your wave 5 to go, the price range in around there. If you were to follow Elliott wave and the predictions based on that. So the last one is the FTSE and the European markets. And anyone who's very savvy and looking at this chart, you will notice that it looks really similar to the other two charts. We've got our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and heading into our wave 5 at the moment. The FTSE is really the one that's making new highs in a solid manner. The Dow Jones is lagging just behind that, and the Australian market, unfortunately, is lagging well behind it. It hasn't quite burst through the new highs yet. Hopefully it will soon. But again, we've got our solid entry signals in place just in case, or exit signals as well. On the FTSE, this is the FTSE chart here. Again, very simple tool, our uptrend line where we might find support in the future at around about 5,300. There's a lot of leeway in the FTSE markets at the moment. And again, if you're looking for a shorter term signal, there's our shorter term uptrend line. So really simple stuff. It would have to close below that and make a lower peak and lower trough in a zigzag fashion, the way we showed you just before. If we were to look at extensions, so Elliott wave, the last wave being the fifth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, heading into our fifth wave now, we could expect market to go between 5,700 and 6,100 before it sort of made a bit more of a correction there into an ABC correction pattern. So, if that sounds like jargon to you guys, that's why I kind of try to break it down into the actual physical numbers. Because Elliott wave, once you get into it, it can be very simple if you want it to be, but some people can make it extremely complicated as well. I prefer my methods to be simple, personally, but that's just me. I don't want to spend hours and hours looking at charts, even though I do love them. Don't get me wrong. So, anyway, those are the three markets. Hope that's helped in some way, shape or form. Those crazy trend lines, they're really simple, but they really do work. And then a few predictions for you based on Elliott wave. If you like what you see, or if you want to learn more, if you just want more from your trading, check out my website. Everything's on there is free at the moment, which is just amazing. I've done a free course. There's like a free trading diary and everything, just of the trades that I've been making recently. It's at asxmarketwatch.com. Stop by, say g'day, swing me an email, or put a comment on the page. And other than that, I hope your trading will go well, and I'll see you next week.